Good morning, everyone. Wow, what a false start we've had this morning.
We've just been talking away. We thought everybody was listening.
Oh my gosh, this is why I talk about podcasting. I'm a strategist. I am not necessarily the producer of things. I'm not the engineer. Okay, look, I try to be the engineer for fun stuff like this, but oh my gosh, just heads up for clients. Thank God I am not this person. Holy smokes, I sold technology for 20 years, Paige. Oh my gosh. Okay, good morning, everyone. This is the Afterglow live recap podcast where we recap the weekly speaker series Business Acceleration 2.0 with Global Leaders Organization. This week we had Patty McCord, the former Chief Talent Officer at Netflix, and she is now an author, amazing woman. I just can't tell you enough, and we're going to talk a lot about Patty McCord. But before we get started, want to say thank you and welcome back, Paige White with SheSavvy. Okay, so I'm in the podcast studio here at City Central, everyone, just so you know. And it has nothing to do with City Central not starting on time. It has 100% to do with Syya not knowing what she's doing. And I'm just going to roll with, yeah, I'm the strategist for podcasting, not the engineer. I want to be very clear about that, everyone. But I'm very excited that we're live.
We made it. We're here. Paige. Look, I even see people in the comments section, so I know it's working properly.
I know. OMG, finally live. Thank you. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh, okay.
Hi, Rashmi.
Hi, Rashmi. Thank you. I love you. And I wish I had bubbles. I probably could use some bubbles right now this Friday morning. So, okay. Paige White, welcome back. Do you realize it's been almost 20 weeks since you've been on Afterglow? So catch us up on what's been going on with you and SheSavvy, and goodness gracious, catch us up. We're surviving this pandemic, right?
Yes, and actually, I hate saying this, but the pandemic has been good for me. My business is all about digital marketing, and so when people can't get out and about, what do? They advertise online. So, I founded SheSavvy back in 2011, and that was just working with influencers. So when a brand has a product or service they want to promote online, they come to me, and my influencers write these articles, they push it out on their blogs, and then they push it out on social media. And obviously, this is good for people that are, looking for digital marketing. And then just a year ago, I launched Paige White Collective, and it's more of a full service digital agency. And it monitors and manages SEO, strategy, influencers, affiliates, etc. So that's kind of what I've been doing. Super busy, trying to take advantage of everybody being online. And I thought, how can I increase my business? And I thought, I'm going to launch another business. So I love it. That's where I am right now.
I love it. Because, with what you've been doing, it has been just, to me, like just watching you reach out and make these connections, particularly with LinkedIn, right? Like this platform that we're on right now. I don't know if we can really talk about it at length, but the fact that we have that ability to, leverage relationships with these, type of providers, if you will. I mean, I consider LinkedIn a social media page at this point, or an app at this point,
100%
platform.
Yes, I agree with you 100%. Yeah, we're excited to be working with LinkedIn. That's about as much as I can say right now. But here in the near future, we have some really, really exciting news for GLO and LinkedIn. So hopefully we can announce that soon in the coming month.
Exactly. I know. I want to talk about it. I know I'm pitching, and I know you're like,
I'm like,
not yet. See I see it in your eyes. You're like, no. But you know what though? It is happening, and I cannot tell you that my level of excitement. I mean, I just want to say something and I cannot, and it's killing me, and we're live, so we can't. So okay, let's talk about Patty McCord, because you know what? We are being very candid, and she is the epitome, and she was so refreshing. I honestly almost had a tear in my eye of, I wish I had someone like her that I could work with to just level set, to have no BS, if you will. You know what I mean? I mean, what was your initial thoughts on Paige? On
On
Patty.
Patty. Yeah. Well, first of all, I just loved how authentic she was and how unapologetic she was. And I was thinking back actually just a few moments ago before we started, I was thinking, gosh, I wish I would have had somebody like that as my boss when I was coming up the ladder, right? I wish I would have had somebody that was completely honest with me and didn't, blow smoke and everything. That's who I needed. And as I was listening to her yesterday, not only can all of this be used for obviously your place of business as an employer, but it can be used in your personal life as well. I mean, I was just seeing all different ways of everything she was talking about that can be used all over.
Yeah. Okay, so here's the thing. I've had plenty of great managers and mentors, quite frankly, in my career. And they've been very honest and very forthcoming with their help for me. And I know it was meant in good intentions. I think it wasn't the immediate. It was like the layers above, if you will. And I don't know what it is when you work at a major corporation. There's this assumption that you have to assume a certain role or presence, if you will. And Patty, though she was with a startup when Netflix was basically nothing, and then grew it up to the juggernaut, and then she stayed true to herself, and she was always bluntly honest at all levels, if that makes sense, right? She says she walked into people's offices and cubes and be like, "Hey, what's up? I'm just gonna sit and join you guys." I love that authenticity, and it goes back to all those leadership. Other previous speakers have talked about authenticity.
Yep.
Now, as someone as direct as her, can it be abrasive? Can it be unwelcome then if you're that blunt and honest and candid?
Well, I think what my mom used to always say, if you're going to give some bad news to somebody, make sure you have a smile on your face, right? Think about that. So as you're like talking to somebody and maybe being bluntly honest with them, maybe just a slight smile. So I mean, I guess you could take that as like, that's really mean, or, I'm just here to help. So I've always tried to do that a little bit,
Or is it like one of those, like, it's coming from the heart? I think women in general, and I know I'm probably going to piss off a lot of people when I say this, tend to make it more emotional based versus just factual. Yeah. And I thought Patty was spot on when she said, keep to the facts. When you're going to give feedback, and I loved it. She's like, I hate the word constructive feedback, right? Constructive criticism, because the assumption is already defensive that you did something wrong. How about celebrate you did something right? And as a leader, I loved her bullet point. Put the right people in the right role, and you don't have to do these performance reviews that she says. Or
exactly. And just going back a little bit, one of the other things she says, it's not my job to tell you. I'm sorry, it is my job to tell you that you might fail. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, how difficult do you think that could? I can't even imagine. Like talking to one of my employees and saying, "Hey, you're going to fail." I mean, that's just going to be really tough. I can't even imagine. But to follow up with that, one other thing she said is start with the right person and pay them what they're worth. One outstanding employee gets more done and costs less than two adequate employees.
Right. And that right there, it's easier said than done. Oh. And that's what I think gets me a little bit, is the fact that it's easier said than done. Because I think in your heart, if you want to give someone the opportunity to excel, maybe it is something to give them out of their, get them out of their comfort level and that reach, if you will, of like, okay, let's stretch yourself. But sometimes it's a risk that you're taking of, they have the fundamental skills to do that job to be successful, but sometimes you're going to fall on your face. Can you accept it? Can you help someone along that path of, maybe this is stretching, or maybe no, not yet, you're not ready for it, then put someone else in play to actually execute on it. I'm curious about that, because we have to be given that opportunity to try to get there. But at the same time, you may not be the right person. Can we, as our own ego, accept that? And I'm telling you right now, for me, it's hard.
Yeah.
That's a hard thing. That's a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah. I don't know what the answer is to that, but when I think of that statement, I think of like all the times that I've been like, okay, I need at least two people to handle all these tasks, but maybe if I get one amazing employee that can do both of these tasks really well. What's wrong with that? For some reason, I think we're in the mindset that we need more people to accomplish more things. Is that really true?
Oh my goodness. The fact that, remember that, okay, her Netflix story just kills me because she said in 2001 or 2 or 1 or 2000, she had to lay off 30% of the staff, which of 120 people, that's literally how she did it visually with like just blew my, she goes 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I mean, I'm like, ouch. Like that hurt physically for me to watch her say that. But what she did say was she kicked out all the middle managers and she goes, and I love her for this. And we let go of the whiners and the babies.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, a girl of my heart. Because how many people that have we worked with where they're just never going to be happy people? And you're like, you're unpleasant to work with.
Yeah.
Like you're never going to boost the morale of the team. But what she said though, on the flip side of it, so yeah, she had to get rid of 30 people, unfortunately. And I'm sorry for the people that early on in Netflix that were part of that riff, but it just maybe your talents weren't needed at that point in time, because after the fact, when the cost of DVD players went down, Netflix freaking just shot right up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. 100%.
But yet with that 60% staff, if you will, they were able to deliver and grow exponentially and then into the juggernaut that we see today.
Yeah.
And it was critical. And that was her point, was you put the right people in the right place at the right time being part of it.
Yeah. And that's actually a really good segue into her deck that she's so famously known for, right? We want to work with people who embody these 9 Netflix values, our culture. So do you want to kind of start going through those? And
let's do it.
Okay. So the number one, the number one on the list is judgment. Make wise decisions, identify root causes, think strategically, separate what must be done now and what can be improved later.
Ooh,
I love that one, that last one. Separate what must be done now and what can be improved later.
Wow.
A lot of times I'm working on processes, just like, look, I mean, this just really spoke to me because I'm that person that's always working on the stuff that can be improved later and not working on the stuff that needs to be done right now.
Guilty, 100% guilty as charged. And it's tough because you think you're doing the right thing, but I think you nailed it. Being busy doesn't necessarily mean it's the right thing.
Exactly. Right? 100%. Yes. Yes. So number 2, communication. You listen well instead of reacting. Treat people with respect and maintain calm poise in stressful situations. I wasn't talking directly at you, Syya, when we were saying that.
Okay, I'm sorry. Everyone that, you guys all that know me, you should have heard me this morning when I'm like, we're not live. We're talking and we're not even live. Oh my goodness gracious. But it doesn't matter, does it? We're late today.
Yeah.
But I'm learning that. I'm learning the world's not going to end.
The world is not going to end if you're a few minutes late, and it is just what it is. Just take a deep breath, blow it out, and just move ahead. So that's communication.
I love it.
So the next one is impact.
Okay.
Impact. Accomplish amazing amounts of important work. Focus on results rather than process. Kind of something we talked about just in the earlier one, but a little more detail there.
Results. And I got to tell you, as a sales career professional, I remember my boss telling me, hey, your business plan looks amazing. Your slideware deck, it looks amazing. But what revenue actually have you brought in? What deals have you actually closed? And that is so hard sometimes because it's like,
what's my ROI? My return on investment, right? That's the bottom line.
Don't get me started, girl.
So the next one is curiosity.
Ooh.
Learn rapidly and eagerly. Seek to understand strategy. Knowledgeable about business and contribute effectively outside of your specialty.
Ooh.
Oh, contribute effectively outside of your specialty.
Okay. Paige.
Yeah.
You are multifaceted, and I've always admired you because
Uh,
just watching you work, especially as GLO is really just growing leaps and bounds. What is your, I guess, out of comfort uh, in all this? Because you've been like putting your hand in a lot of rings everywhere and learning.
well,
What
I
was
think,
yours?
yeah, well, I think anytime you're working with any type of startup, you've got to have your hand in multiple areas, right? I mean, you can't just like stay narrow-minded in your own space. Any startup, and I've only ever worked with startups. So,
Wow.
I have always had to have my hand in many different pots. Sometimes when you're working with more established companies, it's a little more difficult because you're worried about stepping on people's toes, right? You don't
Yep.
want to like get in anybody else's way. So, I don't have as much experience in that aspect, but with startups, I mean, that's one thing I love about it. I never get bored. I'm always working on something new. So I'm all in for that.
I love it. Well, it's funny because for those that have joined us, I know, I mean, gosh, uh, oh, hey, Joseph, thanks for joining us.
Hey,
Joseph Contreras is like an old, like friend. I knew him when he was a baby, basically. Oh, so it's nice to see you. Hey, Joseph, and it is early for you, sir. Thanks for joining. Egbert and Jonathan and Rashmi, I know you guys are always putting your hands in, like, I love our GLO members page because everyone pitches in, everyone does their extra. And I think as entrepreneurs and when you're doing a startup, I don't think you have that luxury. But I feel like at the same time, shouldn't you also know what your core is and then you just dip your toe in when you need, not
yeah,
own it and do it?
yeah,
Does that
yeah.
make sense?
Yeah,
Okay,
I
I'm
think it
sorry.
depends on the type of personality you are. I mean, if you're a little more aggressive, I think you're just going to like step in and have a tendency to kind of maybe try to take over, right?
You're
If
right.
if you're not, then maybe you do a little toe dipping, sticking your toe in a little bit. Can I help with this? Here's a suggestion. I think it depends on what kind of type of personality you are, and you just have to maybe balance the two.
I'm right there with you on that. Okay, what other bullet point did Patty have
Okay.
on her presentation?
Uh, okay. The next one is innovation.
Oh,
Discover practical solutions to hard problems. Challenge assumption when warranted and suggest better approaches. Create new ideas that prove useful.
prove
That's a
useful.
mouth.
Okay,
That's so much.
that was a lot. Like I don't. Okay,
Create new ideas that prove useful.
okay. I like that idea conceptually, but man, that's harder said than done. She had made a comment yesterday where she said, "Look, people asked her like, oh, how do you how do you innovate?" And she's like, "I don't innovate. I just don't waste time on stuff that doesn't work."
Yeah,
And I love that response. But is that how sad is it that that is into itself, unto itself is innovative? Stop
yeah.
doing the wrong thing.
Well, it's what I'm having trouble formatting that saying that people say. Stop doing the same thing over and over again, expecting
Oh,
different results.
right.
Right? I mean, how many of us do that? I think it's just at some point you have to say, when you start doing it, you have to say, Paige, stop. You know better than this. Let's move on. So,
Right. Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. Okay, I can't believe how time has flown by so fast. Maybe it's because we started 10 minutes late because we were not recording. Oh my goodness. Okay, Paige, because I want to be respectful of everyone's time because I said 10 to 10:30.
yeah, no
Uh,
problem.
for those that want to get a hold of you and learn more about you, how can they reach you?
You can reach out to me. My email is Paige at paigewhite.com, Paige at PAIGEWHITE.com. Email me. I'd love to talk to you.
Beautiful. And by the way, you can also see Paige every Thursday morning and the weekly Business Acceleration 2.0 speaker series and all the great curated content that Global Leaders Organization provides. Literally just this past week,
Yep.
Dallas chapter chair, this person here, what's up? But also, we partnered up with our Toronto brethren. So shout out to Brent Ritchie and our
In Mexico.
Mexico City brethren with Carlos Albaran. And then we had the Miami chair, Mo Hassan,
Yep.
moderate for us, thank God, because Thank goodness he knows the USMCA, the United States Mexico Canada agreement. We've been calling it NAFTA 2.0. It's kind of an insult, actually, when you see a lot of the changes and updates that they made to it. But guys, check that out by joining with GLO.com, which is WITHGLO.com. Become a member and you'll see all this type of content that we're putting together. You'll get to hang out with me and Paige because we're so ultra fun and professional.
And also check out the calendar with glo.com/events. We have, I'm so excited. We'll be putting up all the new November, December speakers that we have coming up, and it's pretty darn impressive. So please do join us every Thursday at 10 a.m. Central with glo.com.
Absolutely. Paige, you were like, I wish we need you back more often. Why haven't we had you back more often?
Bring it. I'm happy to come back anytime.
No, you're going to be like, oh my God, Friday again, people. What's your problem? No, everyone, thank you so much for joining us. And I think we're just going to be very cool. Let's wrap this up for another episode of the Afterglow Recap Podcast. Thank you, Paige White. And we will see ya next week. And I did that again to myself. We are going to spin you out here. Bye, everyone.